Hi, this is Robert from survivalcentral.net. Today I'm going to show you how to use an old disposable camera that has a flash and turn it into a fire starting device with a power source of only a AA battery. Now the first thing you want to do is get yourself a camera, a disposable camera. This one is a Fuji. It's got the charge button for the flash on the front, which is the best way to do it because then you hold it down, and when the LED starts blinking, that's when you know it's charged. So first thing you're going to do is you're going to pull this thing apart. Well, first you take out the battery, which I've already done, and what we're going to do is we're going to pull this apart to inspect the guts. Now, right here is the capacitor. You're not going to want to touch that with anything. We're going to pop this out. Be very careful not to shock yourself because this carries quite a bit of charge. So what you're going to want to do is discharge the capacitor if it's any charge in it. There's two little leads right there. All you have to do is touch them together. And if the flash goes off, it's still got a charge, but once you push the two leads together and it does flash, you'll discharge the capacitor and you'll be safe to do the rest of this. Now next what you're going to do is you're going to look right down here. There's two little nicks right there, but there's a flat surface there which you're going to drill two holes all the way through to the other side with your drill. This is a 3/16. That's fine. You can use a little bit smaller depending on the size of your wire, but it goes all the way through and it goes right down in through here. And that's where you're going to be feeding your wire through after you're done preparing the circuit that you're going to be using right here. So now you're ready to solder this up. What you're going to do is you're going to solder a wire on this terminal and on this terminal of the capacitor. Now I've got a length of wire here. I'm just going to cut that in half, and then we're going to strip it back. And we're going to just take our wire strippers and strip back a good portion of the wire. Braid it. Do the same to the other side. Braid it. So only do this step after you discharge the capacitor. If you get to this far and you're not quite sure if it's, don't touch these together, you'll get a real good shock, so that's a warning. You can discharge it by using your knife through here, or you can just ground it out through there, and you're going to get a nice spark, and I'll show you the spark later. But next what you're going to do is just take your length of wire and braid it around the one terminal, and what we're going to do is we'll solder it. Now you gotta make sure this step's pretty neat. You can't have these two terminals touching where the wire is, or else you're going to short it out and you won't get any charge when you go to charge up the capacitor. So then just repeat this step for the other terminal. There we go. Okay. Now we're just going to solder that on so it doesn't move. Now that you got the wires soldered onto both terminals, what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait for my glue gun to heat up. I'm going to put some glue in between the two terminals so there's no chance of this shorting out, and that way you're not going to have to take it apart after you're done putting it back together again. Okay, now I've fished the wires through the bottom part of the case, and all I'm going to do is put this back together again. Might be a little tight, you might have to do a little bit of push and pull, but it should go back into its original spot. You might have to do some wiggling. It will take a little bit, but make sure it goes back in. There we go. Oops. Make sure that tab is above the board because that's where it's going to make contact with the board so you can recharge this. Okay, so So there we have it. It's back together again, and there you have it. So what we're going to do is we're going to test this out. Put that in there. Now you come to this part, the wires are through, and what we're going to do is just put this back together again, like so. So there you have it. It's back together again, and all the tabs are all locked in, so it's not going to go anywhere. You can put your battery back in if you wish at this point. Actually, don't put your battery back in at this point, because what you can do is you can strip the wires back first, and you can either leave them this length or you can cut them shorter and have them something like this one here, which have just a short lead with it, and it just easier to carry around. Now again, you don't want to carry this around charged in your pocket. It's still dangerous, but it's great for starting fires. I'm going to show you how that's done after we're finished here. So here we go. We're just going to strip these wires back. I'm going to cut it back like my other one just to make it a little bit shorter. I'm going to strip those back. Okay, just like that. So there you have it. Just put a little bit of hot glue in there to keep the terminals apart. And also make the terminals stiff. So there you go. Well, there you have it. Well, they're not going to walk around too much. Put ample supply of hot glue on there. It doesn't go anywhere. So there you have it. So now all you have to do is charge it up. We'll wait for this to dry. We'll charge it up and we'll give it a test. Okay, now that the glue is dry, what we're going to do is we're going to put the battery in and we're going to test it out to make sure it works. So you put it in like so, and then push the button. You should hear a little high-pitched whine as it's charging. And then let's see, when the flashing LED comes up, that means it's fully charged, as you can see. Now do not touch your fingers to this. It's very dangerous, very it's high voltage, but we're going to go ahead and we're going to discharge and show you how powerful this is. Now, don't do this on your knife. It'll wreck your knife because it'll weld it, but I'm going to do it with a cheap screwdriver. There you go. Just got a shock there. Now, once you're done, take the battery out and then see if there's any more charge in it. But as you can see on the screwdriver, let's see, there you go. It's welded it right there. So it's very high voltage. It's dangerous. Only use this to start fires. Don't use it for anything else. I know there's a couple other applications that you can use this for, as you've seen online. But there you go. There's your AA fire starter. Now let's go outside and start a fire with this and some steel wool.